Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to tell you the best books that I've read in 2023 so far. I am still reading some books, but these are the ones so far that are mostly 5 stars. I have 2 4 stars, so I'll go through the 5 stars first and then I'll tell you the 2 4 stars. But these, after contemplating, are I think the best books that I have read. First up, we have Long Way Home by Jessa Hastings. This is the second book in the Magnolia Parks series, 3rd in the universe. So this is basically the sequel to Magnolia Parks, but it comes after the first Daisy Hates book. This book made me cry. A lot of emotions and craziness happened, and I just remember thinking, oh my god, what did I just read? So I am obsessed with this. Definitely pick up the Magnolia Parks series. They're all really good, but this was probably my favorite in the series, and so I'm really excited for the next one to come out. I definitely think you should pick them up, and I can't believe I put it off so long, but Long Way Home had me upset and shook, and I just loved it. Next up, and this is the best book that I think is in the series, Ignite Me. This is the 3rd book in the Shatter Me series. I think this was the best one. I loved it. Warner was everything in this book. I feel like book 2 was probably close to being as good as this one, but this one was my favorite. Everything after this went downhill for me, but I loved Ignite Me. I think it was so much fun, and it just like gave me everything I needed. And I was literally like, I have a reading vlog, and I literally was like giggling like a little girl reading this book. So while the other ones, I think this is the only one I gave 5 stars because I just loved this one that much. Everything else got like 4 or 3 stars, but I definitely think that the first half of the Shatter Me series is worth it to read. Second half maybe not so much, but this book alone, I loved it. It was so good. The best. Next up, I think this is pretty obvious. I have Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. Up, I gave them both 5 stars. Fourth Wing, the ending of it shocked me. Shocked me to my core, as I think everyone did. I have reading vlogs for both of these books, and I think everyone knows like the hype. I did contemplate giving Iron Flame 5 stars, but in the end I did, only because of the ending. I think the ending redeemed it, because now there's this huge plot twist and I have to wait for the next one, and I just am scared about how the rest of the series is gonna go. But if you like dragons, fantasy, romantasy, this is the series for you. If you haven't already picked it up, I think that they're so good. I love them so much, and I can't wait for the rest of the series. It's stressing me out, but these are definitely 2 of my favorite books this year. I did not expect to love them as much as I ended up loving these books. Next up, another 5-star read was Hidden Pictures by Jason Rukulak. This is a thriller, horror thriller, in which this girl comes to nanny essentially, and the kid starts being really weird and is drawing creepy pictures. And my favorite thing about this book is that said pictures like are in the book. All the kids' drawings are in the book, and they get creepier the farther you get into this book. I saw some of it coming, but for the most part I was actually pretty like pleasantly surprised by the ending of this book, and I think that this was the best thriller horror that I've read all year. I really enjoyed it. I definitely think you should pick it up. It was pretty popular, but if you like thrillers and horrors, definitely pick up Hidden Pictures. Next up, I think most people agree, Divine Rivals, another 5 stars. This makes me want to read more by Rebecca Ross. If you don't already know, we're following 2 war correspondents who have these magic typewriters that they can like put a message in their closet and it goes to the other person, and so they start writing to each other and falling in love in the middle of a war. There's also gods and goddesses. So everything about this was my cup of tea. I loved all of it, and the ending had me really shocked and stressed, and I can't wait for Ruthless Vows. Because of this book, I picked up Rebecca Ross's River Enchanted series because I loved this one so much that I was like, I have to read more by this woman because this was so good. And I really did not expect to like this book as much as I did, but I loved it so much. And so it's definitely on the top of my reading this year. Next up, another 5-star is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. If you don't already know, I'm a Ali Hazelwood stan. I love everything she writes. Even though it's kind of fan fiction-y, you have to know that it's cheesy. This one was really good. So we have a theoretical physicist, and then I don't know, what is the opposite of that? Anyways, they're both physicists. One is theoretical, the other one is like experimental, and so they are like on two sides of a physicist like hating game. Like these types of physicists hate each other, and she has always grown up hating him, and she meets him, doesn't realize that he is the person that wrote this thing that she despises until later, and then she has to work with him. She's applying for a job at his work, and so she's trying to win this job against the applicant that he is backing, and through that they get to know each other, and it was really good. I think this was my favorite that I've read by Ali Hazelwood. I think it's the best one she's written so far, so this one's pretty good, guys. I liked it a lot. The last 5-star read was Misborn by Brandon Sanderson. I cannot wait to continue this series, hopefully soon in the new year. If you don't know, this is the first in the Misborn series. It's actually called The Final Empire. But we have these people who like can swallow metal, and it helps, it gives them powers, and they're Mistborns. So there are other types of magic wielders who are not like Mistborn. I can't remember. Oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm gonna read the second book because I feel like I can barely remember how this world works. But essentially they're like planning to overthrow the Final Empire. And that's what this whole thing is about, is their plot to overthrow the empire and get rid of this like terrible ruler. And so a couple of Mistborns all team up, and it was really sad. I cried, but it was also really good. I can't wait to read more Brandon Sanderson. I want to go through the whole Cosmere, and this is the beginning of it, so I'm very excited to continue the series. Okay, next up I have 2 4-star books that were also still some of my favorites. Wildfire by Hannah Grace. This is the second book like in the Icebreaker series, and this one, they are camp counselors. She meets them at school before they go to summer camp, and they fall in love while they're there. This one was really cute. I enjoyed it. I think I read it in like one day. I couldn't put it down. This was just one of those cute romance, makes you feel good, so I really loved it. I did give it 4 stars, not 5, but it was still one of my favorites. The last book I also gave 4 stars, Daughter of No Worlds. So she is a slave who leaves. She's going to study at this like place for magic wielders where she gets teamed up with Max, and she basically gets recruited into all kinds of stuff. So much crap that happens in this book, like I swear so much stuff happens in this book, but there's a war coming, and she agrees to fight and be a weapon for this war. It gets really intense, and I don't know how to explain it without spoiling it. There are 2 more in the series. I have not read the next 2, but I do want to read the next 2. But I loved it. I tabbed this book. There were multiple times where I was like, oh, this is like really good. There's a little bit of romance in the background. So definitely a fantasy that I think you should try and pick up if you're into that kind of thing. Also, it's Carissa Broadbent. I haven't read Serpent and the Wings of Night yet because I want to finish this series first. But if you liked that one, you probably will like this. I know she was really popular this year on Book Talk, but I definitely like Daughter of No Worlds. And with that, those are the best books so far that I have read in 2023. There's probably a couple more that could make it on this list, but as of right now, this is the list of 10 that I have compiled. They're not in any order, so don't think that the first one I said was my favorite. I haven't gone through and thought about what my favorite book I read this year was yet. I'm trying to wait until the very end to see, like, once I've finished my December reads, what my favorite of all of them is. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.